in this episode, we're going to be talking about binding. Binding is the act of wearing some type of garment over your torso in order to hide your breasts. Why do people do this? Well, if you're like me, I was assigned female at birth and transitioned because I always felt like my gender identity was male. I look like this. I have a very flat chest now because I have had top surgery. Before I had top surgery, I still wanted to have a flat chest. So what did I do? I had to wear a binder. Now I'm gonna show you what a binder looks like. I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about it, and then I'm gonna show you what a safe way to bind is. All right, so this is what a binder looks like. It just looks like a tank top. It is a double front compression from Underworks. So what you would do is you would basically just put this binder on you and it would actually just flatten out your chest. My chest was not very big, but I had a pretty big chest before I had top surgery, and wearing binders like this helped me feel more comfortable and it helped flatten out my chest. Binding just wasn't enough for me since my chest was a lot bigger, so I wore one binder because it was safer to do it, and then I would wear shirts that were button-up shirts that had patterns on them. The patterns would help to disguise the bump that the binder would create, because it's very hard to get extremely flat if you're very big. Now, it is only recommended to wear a binder, all right, for 8 hours a day or less. I did not follow that rule. It is very dangerous to do so. Do not do that. I know people who wear 2 binders. I know people who wear binders for 16 hours a day. This is very dangerous to do. The reason why it's dangerous is because the skin has some elasticity to it. When you bind, your chest kind of stretches down, and especially if you're on hormones, a lot of the fat redistribution will kind of go away. So you'll still have a chest, but it'll be a little more floppy, is what I can say. So it'll be a little bit easier to bind, but it's still gonna be there. So if you're binding for a long time, for years, and you only take off your binder to sleep and you wear it all day long for 16 hours a day, every single day, the skin elasticity is not going to be that great. So when you do have top surgery, it's gonna be a little trickier to heal. So when you do have top surgery, it's gonna be just a little bit tricky. Your results are still gonna be good, but they're not gonna be the best results ever because of the skin elasticity. This is the safest way to bind, okay? There are other methods of binding that I do not recommend and I will talk about right now. People have been using recently this stuff called K-tape, or KT tape, but that's the brand, K-tape. This is kinesiology tape that you use to treat an injury. I've been injured before on my knee, on my foot, so this is the tape that the physio uses, and the reason why they use this tape is because it stretches, and when you put it on your skin, it kind of stretches back, so it kind of puts everything in the place that it needs to be. This tape is amazing for injuries, not amazing for binding. Usually smaller chested people, what I've seen online is that they're using the tape to, instead of the binder, which compresses the chest down, these will compress this on the side. This is still very dangerous because you are stretching the skin. Now, this tape is extremely sticky and can literally stay on your skin for 3 to 7 days, even if you shower. If you're gonna take this off every night, which you should, and you're gonna put it back on in the morning, eventually there's gonna be bacteria that grows in the tape, like underneath the tape, especially if you're moist, like if you're sweating a lot because it's the summer. And especially if you're ripping it on and off, you're gonna create small lesions. The company has even said that when you take off the tape, it does remove some skin cells. So doing that on your chest, you're gonna cause some lesions, and if there's bacteria that grows, it's a recipe for infection. Please do not bind this way. I've also made a video about this, so I will put the links in the description below. So this is not the only binder that there is. There's other company. There's GC2B. I actually do a binder giveaway every single month where I give away 30 binders from GC2B. Their binders are very similar to these. They have the longer ones and they have shorter ones. They do the same thing, they compress your chest, just both of them are made with like different materials, and some people prefer one company over the other. So sometimes when people start transitioning and they don't have access to a binder, or people who just don't have access to binders, try to find things that they can use to bind. A lot of people have been using ace bandages, and this has been a common thing for years. This was the first thing that I ever used. Do not do this. This is actually worse than the K-tape in my opinion, because the reason that you're doing this also stretches. So when you're putting it on your skin, it doesn't feel super stretchy, but if you're keeping it on for hours, it is so dangerous for you, and it is very hard to breathe with this on. So please do not use ace bandages in order to bind. And to be honest, I literally only used that like once or twice, and I was like, nope, because it doesn't hurt that much when you're putting it on, and then after you wear it for like 30 minutes, you're like, I can't breathe. So why do people need binders? Why are people wearing this? Like I said, it's really a physical thing because you're able to flatten out your chest, but it's really also an emotional thing, because being able to connect with your body visually and seeing a flat chest is so amazing at relieving top dysphoria. I'll never forget this. The first day I ever wore a binder, I put it on and I put on a shirt that had stripes to hide the bumps, and I went to the corner store to the whatever to go buy some chips or something like that, and I was so nervous. But as I was walking, I was like sweating, like people are gonna know. I had never been so confident in my entire life. I can't describe the feeling, how good it felt to finally connect, because when I was younger and I started to grow breasts, I was like 12, I think, and I remember looking down and saying, I'll never be able to wear a t-shirt again. How sad is it that an 11, 12-year-old has to say, it was very hard. So the way that I was able to connect finally with my body was wearing a binder, and that helped to relieve so much chest dysphoria. Binding is not the safest thing in the world, all right? If you bind for too long, you can get bruised ribs. Some people have broken their ribs if your binders are way too tight. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. It's not the best thing in the world, but there are ways that you can do it safely. One, don't buy a binder that's too small for you. I know that you want the flattest chest possible, but no matter what, even if you have the tightest binder in the entire world, if you have a bigger chest, you're still gonna have a little bit of a bump. It's very hard to hide. Buying a smaller binder will be extremely tight, your armpits will bleed, and you're going to be constricting your ribs. This is extremely dangerous because even when you bind with a binder that is your size, you're going to breathe, and you start to learn to breathe differently, which is a concept that is just so ridiculous that we have to go through, but it is true. You learn to breathe in smaller breaths, and when I had top surgery, I had to relearn how to breathe and take deeper breaths, and still to this day, even 4 years after having surgery, I still feel like it's hard to take very deep breaths. So I have consulted medical professionals on this, and I have talked to them about binding and what is a safe way to bind and what you can do, and they have recommended using a spirometer. I know this is ridiculous, I know, but you gotta listen to me. So, if you're gonna wear your binder, you put it on in the morning, go to school, do whatever you need to do, go to work, and you come home. When you take off your binder, I would like you to get a spirometer. These are not expensive. I got this on Canadian Amazon for like $20. You can get even a cheaper one on the American side. I think it's like $8. Just follow me on this. This is gonna be used to take deep breaths. You can take deep breaths after you take off your binder, absolutely. But if you want a visual so that you can see that you are actually taking deep breaths, this is gonna help stretch all of your muscles, and it's gonna help because, oh my goodness, if you bind for hours and your binder is too small for you, it's just so bad for you. You really need to be able to learn how to breathe in deeper breaths as much as you can. This is like you're training your lungs to be able to still breathe and expand, because when you're binding, your lungs don't expand as much as they should. So when you take off your binder, you need to kind of retrain your lungs to expand the way that they are supposed to. So using a spirometer will help. So this is easy. I got like a really cheap one, and the green ball like never moves up, but you just take a deep breath and you gotta get the ball to like move up. You don't really need one that has 3, like you can get one that just has 1 honestly, but this was the only one available on Canadian Amazon. If you don't want to use something like this and buy, or you can't afford it, or you don't have access to this, and you don't need like a visual reminder that you are taking deep breaths, I would recommend going on YouTube. There are a lot of deep breathing exercises that you can do that will expand your lungs and help you. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and the information about binding. If there is anything that I forgot, I will put in the description below. I'll see you for the next episode. Have a great day.